As time draws near to Wednesday, I am getting even more pumped. And honestly, outside of just time frames, I really want to get to streaming Honkai Star Rail as soon as possible. And I'm sure that all of you as well are in the same boat, whether it's playing, streaming, whatever the case may be. You want to get with your friends and talk about Honkai Star Rail. But of course, we still have a couple days left, so I still have at least 2 new characters to talk about, which kind of sucks because I want to talk about some more of the other like standard banner units. But the fact that we have these 2 characters coming out, I kind of need to talk about them first because they are the first 2 really big featured units in Honkai Star Rail. So we're kind of stuck with that. So we're going to talk about the first one, which is Seele or Seele or Sela, however you want to call her. She's a fantastic unit, and I can tell you right now that I have used her before in the closed beta, and while she has been nerfed, she's still unbelievably broken. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the today. There we go. But what is going on, my dudes? Natasha here, back again with another Honkai Star Rail video. And of course, if you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. And of course, leave a comment. Would love to hear you guys' opinions. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Just so that I make this easier on myself, we're just gonna call her Seele. And I've been calling her Seele since Honkai Impact 3rd, but Seele here is a quantum DPS of the Hunt path. Now the Hunt, as you can see right here, characters of this path have extraordinary single target damage, which is critical in blitz battles. Seele is highly important solely because of the fact that she is one of those hard-hitting single target DPSs. And it's no joke, she's really that dang good. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about her skills. By the way, big shout out to Star Rail Station here. This is a much better setup than what I was using before. I love this so much, so thank you so much, guys. We're gonna go ahead and talk about this stuff at max level, by the way, which you can have these little things. This is at max level, so be ready for that. So let's go ahead and talk about Thwack, the single target damage right here. Deals quantum damage equal to 130% of Seele's attack to a single enemy, which is pretty much standard. We already know that this is kind of the thing right here, so this ain't nothing new. Sheath Blade here increases Seele's speed by 25% for 2 turns and deals quantum damage equal to 275% of Seele's attack to a single enemy. And then of course, level 15 on the ultimate, Butterfly Flurry. Seele enters the buff state and deals quantum damage equal to 510% of her attack to a single enemy. Yes, she is able to do a lot of damage to single enemy targets, which is pretty freaking nutty, but it gets even better. Resurgent, the enhanced talent, enter the buff state upon defeating an enemy with basic attack, skill, or ultimate and receive an extra turn. That is big, which means that not only do you defeat an enemy, you get another turn to defeat the enemy again. It's freaking bonkers, and I loved using this skill when I was able to use her back in closed beta test 1. Now, when in the buff state, the damage of Seele's attacks increases by 100% for 1 turn. So let's say you do your ultimate, and when you do the 510, you're not going to be able to use your ultimate again, but if you have your skill open, it's going to do 375% extra damage, or 375% damage. That's freaking insane. Enemies defeated in the extra turn provided by Resurgence will not trigger another Resurgent, which is unfortunate, but it worked like that before as well, so I'm not too upset about it. Now, Phantom Illusion, the enhanced technique. After using her technique, Seele gains stealth for 20 seconds. While stealth is active, Seele cannot be detected by enemies, and when entering the battle by attacking enemies, Seele will immediately enter the buff state. So, if you don't want her to get hit, you're gonna have to do the preemptive strike, or you gotta activate your talent, which is pretty good. Like, or sorry, not talent, but technique. But it's pretty freaking good. Like, she's fantastic. Like I said, I've used her so many times before, so she's nothing new to me at the very least. Now, let's talk about traces here. Your first trace, Nightshade. When current HP percentage is 50% or lower, reduces the chance of being attacked by enemies. So, if you're not able to, let's say, I don't know, go invisible, you have a 50% chance or lower to reduce the chance of being attacked by enemies. Current HP percentage is 50% or lower, reduces the chance. I'm sorry, I read that wrong, but that's basically it. When your HP is under 50%, you have less chance to be aggroed, so that's fantastic. Lacerate, while Seele is in the buff state, her quantum resistance penetration increases by 20%. So she's just gonna keep doing damage. She's not gonna care about your shield. And then Rippling Waves, after using a basic attack, Seele's next action will be advanced forward by 20%. She's all about speed and efficiency, and that's why I love Seele as a character. She's fantastic. Now let's talk about the Eidolons, right? Because we all know there's going to be people out there, whales, that are going to be summoning like crazy. Now, bear in mind, Dazzling Tumult and Piercing Shards are talent upgrades. So Eidolon number 1. Extirpating Slash. When dealing damage to an enemy whose HP percentage is 80% or lower, crit rate is increased by 15%. Dancing Butterfly at Eidolon level 2. The speed boost effect of Seele's skill gets stacked up to 2 times. So I believe that's a 40% increase instead. After using the basic attack, Seele, yeah, so it's a 40% boost instead. Eidolon level 4, Fitting Phantasm. Seele regenerates 15 energy when she defeats an enemy. That is big, because again, you're going to be closer to using your skill and your ultimate consistently. It's just going to be that quick. It's going to be that great. And then, of course, Eidolon level 6, Shattering Shambles. This one's a doozy. After Seele uses her ultimate, inflict the target enemy with Butterfly Flurry for 1 turn. Enemies suffering from Butterfly Flurry will take additional quantum damage equal to 15% of Seele's ultimate damage every time they are attacked. If the target enemy is defeated by the Butterfly Flurry damage triggered by other allies' attacks, Seele's talent, is defeated, blah, blah, blah. Seele's talent will not be triggered. Okay, I was reading it correctly. When Seele is knocked down, the Butterfly Flurry inflicted on enemies will be removed. So that's an extra damage over time, which is exactly what you want for Seele here. Now let's go ahead and talk about light cones, because light cones are very difficult in the sense of like finding the right one. So I have a couple that work really, really well. Raging Waves here increases the wearer's crit rate by 12%. After a crit hit, there is a 60% fixed chance to dispel 1 buff on the target enemy. The effect can only trigger 1 time per attack. So this is good because the fact that now Seele becomes kind of a debuffer, and that's really, really good. But probably not your best choice, but if you're looking free to play and you happen to pull this, not a bad choice in the slightest. And then of course we have the Record, increases the wearer's attack by 60%. If there are two or fewer enemies on the field, increases the wearer's crit rate by 12%. Now with Seele, you want to make sure that you have that high crit rate, crit damage. So it makes perfect sense. Your main focuses on relics are going to be crit rate, crit damage, and attack, and speed. So pretty self-explanatory. Your first 5-star to look into is the Chase 5-star light code. Increases the wearer's crit rate by 8% and increases the crit rate against enemies with HP less than or equal to 50% by an extra 8%. When the wearer defeats an enemy, their attack is increased by 20% for 2 turns. This coincides with how she builds off of her Eidolons and traces, so it works really, really well in that regard. Now we have Sweet Dreams. Increases the wearer's crit damage by 30% when the wearer's basic attack and skill does not result in a crit hit. Increases the crit rate by 36% for 1 turn. This effect can only be triggered once every 3 turns. This is big because again, you want to focus on your crit rate, crit damage. Makes perfect sense to have this, and it's a really, really good one for a lot of DPSs. But of course, we have Seele's perfect one. Flowers and Butterflies. Increase the wearer's crit rate by 18%. When the wearer is in battle, for every 10 speed that exceeds 100, the damage of the wearer's basic attack and skill is increased by 6%. And the crit damage of their ultimate is increased by 12%. This effect can be stacked up to 6 times. That's nutty, okay? That's pretty freaking nutty in my personal opinion. And honestly, this is her best light code. Obviously, because it's her. So, Now let's go ahead and talk about the relics here. The best relic that I could come up with right here is the Genius of Brilliant Stars. And the reason being is because you want to capitalize on that quantum damage. Increases quantum damage by 10% on the 2-piece effect. And the 4-piece, when the wearer deals damage to the target enemy, ignore 10% defense. If the target enemy has quantum weakness, the wearer additionally ignores 10% more defense. That's huge. And not only that, but like the amount of buff that you're gonna get from a lot of these pieces, as you can see right here, which it looks like it's only gonna be 4 pieces, you get a pretty decent amount right there. So that's pretty dang good. So I would definitely have to say the Genius of Brilliant Stars is her best one. Now, of course, Seele is awesome. She has a scythe. She's able to do these really cool ultimates, or really cool ultimate in general. And her skills look so freaking cool. I loved using her in closed beta 1. And I cannot stress enough, she's going to be, in my opinion, a must summon. She's going to be great in the game for a long, long time. And I honestly cannot suggest pulling her enough. And guys, that's going to be it for today's video. We are so close to Honkai Star Rail, I can taste it. And it tastes so good. But that's going to be it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, obviously. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about Seele. And of course, we'd love to hear you guys' opinions. Anyways, guys, love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you guys in the next video. Please take care. Be safe, y'all.